So good afternoon, everyone. Welcome and thank you for attending the webinar today to talk about the Smurfit School full-time MBA program and how it can bring you success in your career and your future leadership. So just while we're waiting for people to join the webinar today, we're going to play a short video from our school, and then once that video is complete, we'll start the agenda for the day. Thank you.
Our MBA program is a world-class program. It's delivered in an excellent educational environment. We're a triple accredited business school, placing us among the top 90 business schools globally. Why do we have a world-class MBA program? First and foremost, it's about the content that we deliver. So I'm thinking here naturally about economics, entrepreneurship, finance, marketing management strategy, delivered by accomplished and experienced faculty and practitioners. Bringing all this together, we have a theme of globalization, a theme of internationalism that really changes the outlook of our MBA students as giving them the hard content, the language and the ideas of business, and really producing graduates with a new outlook on the world and who can perform very, very well in the international job market.
Great, so that was a short video from Cal Muckley, who is the academic director of the school. So now I would like to take you through the slides for today. So firstly, just to introduce myself, my name is Jessica Dowling and I am the admissions manager looking after the full-time MBA program here at the Smurfit School, and also our two part-time options, which is our executive MBA and our new modular MBA, which launched this year. I'm joined today with Kathy Savage, who will be speaking a little bit later on our career service and the careers network available to you, and also with two of our current full-time students, Ali and Sashi, who will be talking about their experience on the program so far. So we will be starting with myself, just telling you a little bit about the school, about the program itself, how you apply, and very importantly, scholarship opportunities. And then I'll be having a chat with Ali and Sashi before handing over to Kathy. And just two things to remember is that this is being recorded and you can ask questions live, and we'll be going through a Q&A at the end. So if you have any questions for anyone on the panel today, we'd be more than happy to answer them. But also if you are watching a recording, then you can also ask questions as part of the recording and they'll be sent to us. So if you're not watching this live, don't worry too much. So firstly, just to start off is why UCD Smurfit. So as Cal spoke about there in the intro video, we are Ireland's leading business school. We have been providing MBA programs and MSc programs for many, many years to the domestic and international market. We have a dedicated campus in Blackrock, which is in suburban Dublin. We have about 1,500 students. I think it's closer to 1,600 students this year. And we have 26 specialised master's programs, and we have an executive education suite as well. So we also, for our MBA, have what's called the Triple Crown of Accreditation. So that means that the MBA is recognised globally. If you were to do an MBA with us and start your career anywhere in the world following on from it, then it would be recognised as a really, really solid MBA. And we've actually had that accreditation for over 20 years. So, you know, it's a very, very strongly and very highly ranked programme. We're also a member of several global alliances and memberships, including GNAM. And I know both the guys are on the GNAM week this week, so they'll be talking a little bit about that. And we're consistently ranked in the top 100 of programs. So within the Financial Times, The Economist, you know, it's a really, really well recognized MBA program. It's a very well recognized school. So no matter where you're watching from in the world, it's definitely something, if you do join us here in Dublin, in our school, you can take that MBA and use it for wherever you end up in the world. So this I will go through very quickly. This is just a curriculum overview of the full-time MBA. So it is a one-year program. It's 12 months end to end. It starts in August, very end of August every year. So our next intake will be August 2022, and we are currently open for applications for that program. I should say we offer rolling admissions, so while there isn't any rounds of deadlines as such, we will have deadlines around scholarships, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But as you can see, it is a general MBA, I would say. You do cover everything from financial reporting, international markets, consulting projects. It's really all-encompassing, and there is some optional modules as well that you can do. I would certainly say it's a very global MBA. We have a lot of international students on the course, And also there are a lot of international modules as well. So we have international study tours, the GNM week, and so on and so forth. As well as the actual curriculum and modules that you'll be doing, there's also the Leadership and Development Program. I'll talk about that in a little while. And also the MBA Careers Development. So careers, working on your CV, working on your potential future job market is a hugely important part of the MBA. So for any students who are coming to us internationally and may not have been to Ireland before or may not have studied in Ireland before, we do have excellent student support services. So we actually have 5 global centres across the world, and we work very, very closely with them. So if you are coming from any of those regions, you may first liaise with someone in one of the global teams, and then you come through to ourselves here in Dublin. We do have an international student liaison manager, Yola. She's absolutely fantastic. She can help you with lots of things, questions around accommodation, visas, arrival in Ireland, everything like that. We have a student advisor, Nadia Clarkin. She would be an advisor when you're on the program. And we also have a cultural development officer, Dr. Linda Yang. So she would run seminars in working interculturally, working cross-culturally, everything that you need for a global career. So we are a very internationally minded college, and we do have a lot of international students from all over the world. Probably one of the most important things, one of the biggest selling points for studying in Ireland is the 2-year stay-back visa. So Ireland is the last remaining major English-speaking country within the EU. I have to mention that Malta is also an English-speaking country within the EU, but we do have what's called a 2-year stay-back visa. So once you graduate from a course in Ireland, you do have the option to live and work in Ireland for up to 2 years as a non-EU national, and it's not tied to an employer or sponsorship. So for a lot of our students, this is a big draw to come study in Ireland. It is an English-speaking country. In terms of careers, it's a huge tech hub. A lot of multinational companies are based within Ireland. So there's a great opportunity to start work here and then maybe take your career somewhere else. So really, when you're thinking of that career journey that you might be on at the start of it, or maybe you're at a pivotal turning point, certainly doing an MBA and studying in Ireland, it would be of benefit to you. I mentioned briefly earlier, but as well as the actual modules that you would be completing on an MBA, there is also the Leadership and Development Program. So this is what looks at your development as a person, your development as a leader, your development as a team player, and just your development of self. So we work with you very closely around that, and it's really important that you get those skills, those soft skills, so to say, as well as the module and information that you get on the program itself. So becoming a self-aware leader is really important in modern business, especially in a globalized world. So that's something that we're very conscious of for our students. Just to touch on then as well, our UCD Alumni Network. So we have alumni all over the world. We have 146 countries. We have, I would say, for MBA alumni now, it's closer to 5,000 alumni chapters all over the world. And once you leave, you never really leave UCD. You'll always stay within that alumni network. We're very, hands-on, and you'll see even in the global study tours that we do as part of the MBA that a lot of the times we're linking in with our alumni who might now be all over the world. So it's a really, really strong part of the program is that you always kind of stay with UCD. So then very quickly, just to go on to how you actually apply to the program. So as I mentioned before, we are open for applications at the moment. So applications for the full-time MBA and in fact all our programs is done online. You just go to smurfitschool.ie and you click apply on the screen. You have to create an account, but it's very straightforward. In terms of the minimum entry criteria for what you need for the program, so the first thing you need is a minimum of 3 years work experience, and that is at the time of application. So what I mean by that is, if you're currently 2 or 3 years out of graduation, you might be a little bit too early on in your career to do an MBA. I would certainly say that a really important thing about doing an MBA is doing it at the right time for you in your career. So do just bear that in mind, that you may, I would say 7 to 8 years is probably a very sweet spot to do it for a program. You would also need a university degree. It needs to be the equivalent of a level 8 honours within the Irish system. And then as well as that, you need a completed application form. And along with that, you would need 2 letters of recommendation, ideally from a current and a former employer. There's a video interview that you need to do, but it's about 20 minutes and it's some competency-based questions. You need an up-to-date CV, and then you need either a GMAT score or what's called an executive assessment score. This is new for this year that we're accepting it for the full-time program. The executive assessment is similar to a GMAT, but it's a lot shorter. It's a 90-minute exam, but it follows a very similar format to the GMAT, but it's easier to prepare for, I would say, and it's just a little bit more accessible for people who are working very busy jobs and have, very busy home lives at the moment. So I would definitely recommend you sit an EA over the GMAT if you haven't already sat a GMAT. And then if you come from a non-English speaking country, then you do require an English language certificate. And then what's very important to people I know is scholarships. So we do offer a number of merit and needs-based scholarships for international candidates. How you apply for these is you go onto our website, which is updated at the moment. You look at the scholarships on offer, and if you feel one in particular suits you, you actually apply for that scholarship within the main application form. So there's no separate application that you actually need to do. There is one or two that do require a separate application, but that would be very clearly signposted on the website. They range from full to partial support, and we do mainly base them on merit base. And we will tell you once you've gone through the interview process, if you are successful to get a place in the program, we do generally let you know if you are successful at your scholarship opportunity then as well. Okay. So now I'm going to introduce our two current students, so Ali and Sashi. So they are both on the full-time program at the moment. So firstly, I am just going to ask them to introduce themselves and to tell them a little bit about their background before they join the MBA. And if possible, Ali, can I start with you, please?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Ali. I'm originally from Lebanon, from Beirut, and I'm currently living in Dublin and studying at UCD at full-time MBA. Before joining the MBA program, I used to work in the IT sector, and I had around 4 years of experience in the IT, and I have an engineering background. And yeah, now I'm here at UCD.
Great. And Sakshi?
Hey everyone, I'm Sakshi from India. I did my undergraduate from University of Delhi in BSc Life Sciences. After that, I've worked for almost 4 years in HCL. It's one of the biggest tech companies in India, and I worked in business transformation and digital innovation. After that, I worked for over a year in a digital marketing company where I was responsible to direct traffic to clients' websites and platforms. And I worked there until July this year. And then August, I came to Dublin, and now I'm pursuing my full-time MBA.
Great, brilliant. Well, you're both very welcome, both to obviously to the program and also to the webinar today. So again, probably my second question is, I'll start with you, Ali, again, if that's okay. What was your motivation for coming to the Smurfit school, I suppose? And then secondly, what was your kind of motivation around an MBA in particular?
So the reason I came to the Smurfit school is I was looking for opportunities to come to Ireland, being the country it's developing in terms of the technology and all the businesses around it. So I want to come to Ireland, and then I looked into universities and I saw Smurfit school as the top university in Ireland, the #1 in terms of employability, in terms of graduates, in terms of opportunities in Ireland or outside of Ireland. So I went with that, and I applied to Smurfit. Why MBA? Because during my job, I touched on some topics in terms of accounting or marketing or strategy, but I never got into them deeply. And the MBA program would really help, is really helping actually covering those gaps that I have in terms of those business acumens and all of this knowledge. So yeah, the MBA is serving that purpose, I would say.
Great. And can I just ask you, you said there when you were doing your research about Ireland, what kind of, what were you looking at? Was it online, or was it any particular sort of reports or company-based information?
In terms of what do you mean?
In terms of when you were looking, you mentioned that it was you were looking at Ireland in particular to come study.
Yeah.
Was there a particular reason? Was it the language or the culture? Yeah.
Exactly. I wanted to look for a country that's English speaking, that's in the European Union, something that's also close to home, something that's booming in terms of the technology industry and the finance and the consulting as well. So, and Ireland hit all of those marks, and especially the 2 years stay back. This is a very good point for students like me to come and study here and seek opportunities after. So yeah.
Brilliant, great. And Sashi, can I ask you the same questions? What was your motivation for an MBA, and especially an MBA with us here in Smurfit?
Yeah, sure. So the reason why I chose Dublin is majorly because of two reasons. One is being that it's a tech hub and you have all the major tech companies, especially their European headquarters, set up in Dublin, from Google to Amazon. And for someone like me who majorly has worked for a tech company, Dublin is a great place to be at. Secondly, as Ali mentioned, Ireland is the only English-speaking country after Brexit, so it was an important factor when I was making my decision to choose my dream business school, as I believe language can significantly affect your learning experience. And that's something that I looked out for. And the reason I wanted to do my MBA is, I mean, as I had always wanted to do an MBA. And the reason I think it is because I come from a family background, and I come from a family, who runs their own business. So I understand that, to run a successful business, you need to understand, you need to have a versatile skill set. And that's something that I'm planning or hoping to learn, with UCD Smurfit Business School. And the reason I chose UCD Smurfit Business School is because A, it has triple accreditations and it has ranked consistently in top 100 business schools. And currently I'm doing my GNAM week with NUS, and I am doing their brand alignment course, which is closely related to what I want to do in my future.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for that answer. No, absolutely. I think that where the MBA is situated is huge, but also in terms of, our ranking as a school, just to mention that our SEMS program, which is our international Masters in Management, has just been ranked third in the world, and UCD overall has just been ranked number one for employment for universities in Ireland. So certainly, these are very important factors when you're considering to do an MBA. An MBA really is a once in a lifetime opportunity. So, those are definitely great things to be looking into. So it's great that you did your homework. And then sort of the next question, again, starting with Ali, would be what so far has been your highlight of both coming to Ireland and also the MBA? Now, just for anyone watching this, the MBA did just kick off at the end of August, so it is still quite new, but any sort of feedback on that, Ali, or what you're enjoying so much so far?
Yeah, I'm gonna start with the MBA first. So the MBA experience so far has been like a very intense but very rewarding experience in terms of the class discussions, the case studies, the talking with the professors, the knowledge you would get from an international students and international, So it has been very rewarding, very nice to get hands-on experience, and we're in class this year. So this also, like this is also a very nice feeling to be face to face with people and discussing those things. In terms of Ireland, I mean, Ireland is the place to go to in terms of the culture and the variety of culture and the nature and all kinds of activities that you could do here. From east to west, so it's a very nice place for an international student to come here. There's a lot of international communities, and the local scene is very nice as well. So yeah, I mean, positive experience on both ends, I would say.
Great, except for the weather, maybe.
To be honest, it didn't even bother me so far. I mean, am I lucky that the weather is like this? But I'm not. It's so far it's
Good.
good, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah, I shouldn't have said anything. Great, thanks so much. And
Yeah.
actually, can I ask you the same question? Any sort of highlights so far for you?
Sure. Academically, I think Smurfit has some of the greatest professors, and these people have immense knowledge of the subjects. And I think you could feel that when you're sitting in the classes. And like Ali mentioned, classroom teaching, especially the case study method, really enhances your learning experience. And not only do you get to hear different perspectives, but you also learn a lot about yourself, and you understand why you're thinking in a particular manner, and how you can change the way you're thinking. And towards the end of discussion, professors will share their thoughts on the case, and you just let the wisdom of professors like wash over you, and it's an enlightening experience. Personally, I am having a good time here. I made friends with a lot of people already, and I think this is partly because I am living in college accommodation, so it's easier for me. And pubs are open now, so I mean, weekends are great too. Though I'm not really sure if I was supposed to share this information, but it's been great. And then recently we had a clubs night where we got the opportunity to, open our own clubs and share the proposals with the classmates. And right now, I think we all have signed up for like 10 and 11 different clubs, and it's been great. It's going like too great so far.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. And it's brilliant actually that you mentioned there about the clubs and societies. I should have touched on that earlier myself. So clubs and societies form a huge part of both life at UCD in general and especially at the Smurfit School as well. So you have the opportunities to get involved in sports clubs, but also clubs around entrepreneurs. We have a club called Mba, which is gender equality on the MBA. We do a lot of different clubs and societies. So it really means that, our classes are quite small. We do deliberately keep our classes quite small for the type of learning that we did, again, which was touched on there. It's very collaborative when you're working with our lecturers. So, we do keep the classes quite small. But by taking part in the clubs and societies, you do get to experience the wider college, the main UCD campus and everything like that. So absolutely, that's something I always recommend to people, to get as involved as possible with all our clubs and societies. Okay, great. Well, I don't have any more questions for the two of you guys, but they'll stay around. So if anyone has any questions for our two current students, we can ask them at the end. So thank you again. So I'm just going to go on to the next slide if I can. There you go. Oops, I've gone too far. So I'd just like to introduce my colleague, Kathy. Kathy heads up our career service, and she is going to talk a little bit about the Mba Careers Network that we have on offer and everything involved in that. So Kathy, are you there? Or maybe she's not. I'll give Kathy a minute while we are just waiting for Kathy. If you can actually pop that slide back up, I'm happy to speak to it briefly as well, Luke, if that's okay.
Sorry, Jess, I think I lost connection there for a second.
Perfect. There you go. I'll just hand over to Kathy, you then, so if you're happy to talk through the slide.
Yeah, sure. So thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Kathy Savage, and I head up the Careers Network team, which are a team that supports all students in the UCD Smurfit school. And then we have a dedicated career program for our MBA students. So I know you can see this just to talk to the program. So all MBA students have unlimited access to one-to-one careers coaching. So for example, this year is just going through statistics for the director of the school, and our full-time class already have had 34 one-to-ones with our career coaches so far this year. Then we would host many alumni networking events for students, also have employer question and answer sessions and presentations, and office visits were very common before COVID, and hopefully, after Christmas in 2022 and beyond, we'll see those return. We also produce, students are invited to participate in a CV book, both our full-time and executive MBA students. And we have many invested in the last 5 or 6 years in many online training courses to help you with your career planning. Then the our full-time MBA students, the career program sits alongside your academic program and your learning and development program. So we have a structured career program that starts in September, whereby we host regular workshops and activities. Some are delivered in-house by our career staff here, and then we would hire in experts to facilitate workshops around different areas of career planning. We also organise a senior alumni career mentoring program for our full-time class, where you are matched with a senior alum of the MBA program who can provide insight to you into the particular sector or job that you're trying to get post-MBA. We also, just to help you prepare for interviews, because many people maybe will be out of the loop of interviewing, we hold mock interviews with employers as well for our full-time students. And then our executive MBA and our modular MBA students have access, because they're, obviously, if you were studying the exec or the modular program, you're working full time. So we provide more of a flexible and personable career service that starts really any time to suit you and your career planning objectives. And then twice yearly for execs and modulars, we give advanced notice to you. We'd hold career boot camps and networking workshops. And then really just to give you, to provide you with the latest employment data, which is always something that we get asked by our students. So the full-time MBA class of 2020, we would gather statistics 3 months post-graduation. So the class of 2020, 92 were employed 3 months post-graduation, and 5 months post-graduation, 100% were employed, which was excellent. And the average increase in salary was 77% that year. And just to give you a sense of the average salary, which there's obviously variations across students, the average salary in euro is just over 71,000. 63% of our students change sector, which is a very interesting statistic. So many people who complete the full-time MBA program want to change either sector, function, and this particular class were successful in doing that. And interestingly, 96% of our full-time class offers were accepted in Ireland. So as Ali and Jessica referred to, the postgraduate visa is very attractive to students, and many people who study with us want to work in a lot of the international multinational companies that are based here in Ireland. Our executive MBA class of 2019, within 1 year of graduating, 80% were promoted, 33% change sector. There was an average salary increase of 37%, and the average salary based on in euro was 116,000, just over 116,000. And then just to give you a sense of, these are recent employers that have hired from the program. So obviously you can see there's a lot of the tech companies naturally feature there, because Ireland has many tech companies here. So the likes of LinkedIn, Amazon, TikTok, etc. And then the consultancy companies, so many MBAs would transition into consulting for 3 or 4 years post MBA, so the likes of McKinsey, Grant Thornton, etc. And then obviously across the board, CRH is a massive global company, Kellogg's, Henkel, etc. So that's just to give you a little bit of an insight into the type of the program, the career statistics, and just to give you a sense of where people are working. And I'm going to be staying on the call as well. So if you have any questions, I'd be delighted to answer them. So thank you very much. Back to you, Jessica.
Great. Thank you so much, Kathy. And yeah, I just wanted to touch on there actually. We do have the main focus of today is really the full-time MBA program, because that is generally speaking, what international students are looking for, a full-time program. But we do also offer a modular MBA program, and I'll share some links at the end of this slide. But the the modular program, you're just on campus once a month, so it is part-time. If you are working and living within the EU and you think that travel to to Ireland is feasible once a month, then absolutely we can have that conversation with you as well. So just to touch on that too. So great. So now we're going into, we have plenty of time. We're going to have a Q&A. So we are going to be asking or answering some questions that have been asked throughout this session so far. So I think, Luke, are you starting off with the questions?
Yes, indeed, I will. And we already have some questions that came in. So great. Good to see that. Also, I'd like to mention that we have opened the polling. So for those of you that haven't seen it, we'd like to hear your feedback as well. In a little bit, we'll open another polling question at the end of the session. But thanks for your feedback. Coming to the questions we've received so far, Lauren asked, how does UCD work with international students outside of the EU and the EEA to find jobs after graduation?
Do you want me to take that one?
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, and I might get Ali has, and maybe you can talk a little bit about the career program that Mark has put on and some of the speakers that you have met with, and also the one-to-one consultations. But really, hopefully, can you still hear me? Sorry, my connection is kind of okay. Great.
Yes.
So yeah, the career program is really designed to help our students reflect a little bit about, I suppose, where they are, why they decided to do the MBA, and then we would very much support students, providing them with an insight into what you need to be successful in particular industry. So in terms of international students coming over to Ireland, what I would say first is, I suppose you need to put in the work in order to get a job here. But if you do put in the work, the statistics, I suppose, speak for themselves. You know, if you look to the class of 2020, that class would have graduated during the pandemic. So there was a lot of challenges facing that particular class. And 3 months post-graduation, 92% of our students were in roles, and 5 months after graduation, 100% were employed. And that class, I don't have the statistics off the top of my head. Jess might be able to speak to that, but I would say at least over 70% of them were, you know, as in students who, you know, didn't grow up and weren't educated in Ireland. They were new to the country, new to the education system, new to Ireland, and perhaps in many instances new to Europe. So the program that we have, the career program that we have designed, it really has been designed over, you know, 10 or 12 years, and it's really been developed to assist MBA students to, you know, secure the job that they want. So we have, obviously, Mark Davis is the MBA career manager. I'm just stepping in for him today because he had something else on. And then we have, I head up the team, and we've built up a panel of obviously really good staff who can support you, but also we would engage with external suppliers who are experts in their field, who can and also I know our current students who are on this call, the mentoring program is really excellent as well, because we encourage students to connect with alumni of the program, both in our insight events, our employer events, and obviously through our mentoring program as well. So so hopefully that answered your question, but I might get maybe Ali and Sashi to speak a little bit about the program, because I know Mark has been working intensely with you, as have our career coaches. So maybe you could give the audience a little bit of objective feedback on the career program from your perspective.
Sure, I'll go. So like everything you said, this is what we've been doing for the last 6 weeks. So we're already 6 weeks into the program, and we're already talking about graduation and the opportunities after graduating. This is how fast it is. And in terms of like EU or not in the EU, or, you know, international students, it's the same for everyone. Everyone is sitting with the careers manager. We're doing the same work. They're working on our CVs, our polishing our interview skills and everything. So the support in terms of the career-wise is just amazing. Whether people want to stay in Ireland or you go somewhere else after, it's still an amazing program just to be involved in. You could almost say it's its own course and its own module where you have to work for it, work really hard for it. And if you want to stay here after, you will have to put in the effort, but you're going to be getting the support from UCD. You know, whether if just knock on the door and someone's going to answer and someone's going to help you. So this is really very impressive when it comes to UCD in terms of this, to be honest. Yeah,
and we know, just to echo that, I guess is that we know that you're really busy, so we have the program designed to kind of gently nudge you in the right direction from, you know, very early in the program, because I really our experience over the years is, obviously you're so busy during the academic year that sometimes you mightn't have the headspace to think about your career, but I suppose we help you do that but through the program that we've designed. So, you know, no student will not have a plan when they finish their MBA. So sorry, maybe could you give a little bit of insight into?
Yeah, just adding to what Ali said, we really have one-to-one session with our career coaches, and I personally have met Mark quite a few times. And I mean, he really helps a lot with your CV and what you need to change, and if there's something that you can add, there's something that you can modify in terms of, your CV becoming more attractive to future employers. And not just the scheduled session, Mark is available for you over email, over call, and we know where his office is. He's available 24/7, which is really amazing. This is a kind of support that I have never had, in my prior life. So this is something that's, being a non-EU student really helps me and motivates me to do my best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay, there you go. Thank you all of you for your answers. And we go to the next question from Pedro. He was asking, when are the options to begin?
Okay, so I can answer that one. So we just have one intake of our programs a year. So we are currently recruiting for the August 2022 intake. You would be starting the last week of August. We don't do January intakes. It is just once a year. And as I said, it's a 12-month program for the full-time MBA. And then our 2 part-time options are 24 months in length.
Okay, great. Seeing the thumbs up, that is a good answer. I hope so. Thanks. Lucas is asking, are there any opportunities to study with partner universities?
I can talk a little bit to that. So we do have partner universities. There are the options of doing, let's say, like an add-on to your full-time MBA. These do change year on year, but I did see that question and I wanted to bring it round to the GNAM week, which is probably one of the most, that is our partner. So we are a member of GNAM. That is an elite group of business schools. It was set up by the Yale School of Business a few years ago, and we are the Irish partner of that. So there's just a few select business schools worldwide. And what that means is that for 1 week of your MBA, you get to join another participating school and join their MBA and do a module with them, essentially. Normally, this is in person, so you would be traveling there. This year and last year, it was done. It is being done virtually, and in fact, I believe it is GNAM week this very week. So again, just a big thanks to both our current students who have taken time out of their very busy schedule to take part in this webinar today. But I was going to turn kind of hand it over to you, like Ali or Sashi. Could you talk a little bit about your experiences so far? That'd be great.
Sure. So as I mentioned earlier, I'm doing my GNAM with NUS, which is National University of Singapore. And before I got into this program, I had the opportunity to choose from 30 different schools. And we had Haas Berkeley, we had Yale, and we had some good Indian business schools, IIM, and schools like that. So it's a really great opportunity for you to learn from a different business school. And currently, I'm doing my business, my GNAM for brand alignment. And I had my classes early in the morning, 5 in the morning. And even though, I mean, it's not great to get up so early in the morning, but the class is so amazing. Even though I'm doing it virtually, I did not really feel like that. The professor was so great, and he made sure that even the virtual students were able to connect and participate. And we have a weightage assigned to that. So it's important for us to, participate in the class, and the professors and the cohort is really amazing. We already have a WhatsApp group, where we have started chatting, and they're asking me how it's going in Ireland, and they're telling me how it's going there in Singapore. So it's a great program to be at.
Brilliant. And Ali?
So when I was trying to decide which module to take out of the 32 universities providing modules, there's literally everything from behavioral economics to negotiations to cryptocurrency to sustainability. So it was like a wide range of modules you want to take. And I decided to take the negotiation one, the complex negotiation one with Moscow School of Management. And like Sashi said, and just to add, it's just an amazing experience, whether it's in person, I don't know in person, but online, it's like we're there basically. There's the virtual studio, and they're engaging everyone, and you get to meet people from all those other universities. So it's like it's a very global class, and it adds to your skill set, whatever you're taking for that course. It just adds more to your skill set. It's a very intense week as well, but it's also very rewarding. You get to learn a lot of things and just come out of it with a new topic in mind or a new skill that you're polishing or better at. So yeah, it's a very good opportunity actually to be part of it.
Great, thank you so much. So hopefully that answered the question about sort of international partnerships. So yeah, so is there another question that we could ask?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thomas has another question. Based on my understanding, Smurfit's MBA has one of the smallest cohorts, about 30, he says, among the top full-time MBAs across the globe. Is this number going to remain the same given the global trend of higher MBA implications induced by the pandemic?
Yes, so we do. He's correct. We do. We always keep our MBA programs quite small. In fact, all our programs at Smarfit are kept quite small, and that is deliberate. We try to keep our classes around the number of 40 per year. So it's give and take. So it's a very competitive MBA. So I would always recommend early application, especially if you're applying from abroad. We have no plans to change this. We have no plans to make it into a very large MBA class or anything like that. But again, as was mentioned earlier, it comes down to how we do our teaching methods. So the teaching, we have fantastic academic staff, and they have one foot in the sort of research world, but then also one foot in the commercial world. And to get that classroom experience and to get that knowledge from our academics, we do like to keep our class sizes small. So there's no massive plan to change that anytime soon.
Great, thank you. Hope that answers your question. Again, seeing by the thumbs up, it does. Great, thank you. Lauren is asking, what's the breakdown of people within 3 to 5 years experience on the full-time MBA and the executive MBA?
I'm guessing that question is how many people have 3 to 5 year work experience. So the average on the full-time MBA at the moment is around 8 years work experience. Now that does cover a multitude. Some people have 4 to 5 year work experience. There are other people in that class who have 20 plus years work experience. So that is an average. I would say if you, as I mentioned briefly earlier, if you are just on the cusp of 3 years work experience, you can absolutely apply, but what you can also do is email me directly and I'd be happy to have a quick look at your CV. I would really say sort of 5 years would be a little bit more normal. And then on the executive MBA and the modular MBAs, these are aimed at people who are working and based in Ireland. So they tend to be a little bit older. So on our executive MBA, the average at the moment I think is 14 years. And on the modular MBA, it's about 18 years. So there would be a very small handful who would have maybe 3 to 5 years. The majority would have more experience.
Okay, great, thank you. And as you just all of you saw popping up on the screen, there's a link to the overview of the MBAs, the full-time, the modular, executive MBAs, and to compare them and to get more information as well. So you can click on that maybe to open it and check it out after the webinar. As we continue with some more questions, Chika has a question. I'm in the process of applying, but there's no section for uploading the references. When will it be asked for?
It should be there. So when you apply, so there's 2 places you'll be asked for it. One is in the actual application form itself. You'll be asked to give the name and the email address and then the contact details essentially of your referee. That's all that's asked for there. And then when you go to attach your documentation, you'll be asked there to upload the 2 reference forms. There is a template for the reference forms available on our website, so you can download it from there. If you need a Word document version, just contact us and we can send you that. The reason it's the same 2 names we're looking for the actual filled out forms and the 2 names that are asked in the actual form itself typed. The reason we ask for that is sometimes the forms, if they're photocopied, can be hard to read. And if we want to reach out to your referee, we need to have it typed in the actual application form. But it should be there. If there's any confusion around it, if you email mba@ucd.ie, someone in the team will be able to kind of send you a screenshot of where you need to fill it in.
Okay, great, thank you. Next question from Gunyesh, if I say that correct. How does the school course structure support cross-functional transition career paths?
Jessica, would you like me to take this one?
That would be great, thank you.
Yeah, so just to refer back to, I guess, the slide, and I'm sure Jessica and the team will share these with you after this event. So 63% of the full-time MBA class of 2020 changed career sector. So just to look at that. So many of our students who are coming in to do an MBA could be from an engineering, medical, finance background, and many of them want, their motivation, I guess, for one of their motivations for doing the MBA is that they're eager to perhaps change career function. And they are, I suppose, using the MBA as a tool to help them change function. So I suppose the statistics from the class of 2020 really speak strongly to that 63% succeeded in doing that. And again, I would say, just based on our experience in the school, that's something over the years many of our students have wanted to do. And the MBA, I suppose, really complements that change, and the career program is designed to help you with that change. So the mentoring program I referred to earlier, that's after in sort of trimester 2, which is in January time, January, February, March time, there is a career mentoring program where you would be matched with a mentor. And having met myself, Mark, and the team, we tried to match you with somebody in the sector that you're ideally trying to secure a role in. So that really helps you get an insight into the role, what kind of jobs are available, what kind of CVs they like, if you've any skills gaps, etc. So I suppose the MBA career program is really designed for those who want to make a change in their career. So I know Sashi and Ali might be able to tell you a little bit about that. I would say I haven't met them myself yet. I think Mark has met you both, but I would imagine you're both looking to make a career change, and the career program really is designed to facilitate that and support you through that change. So I don't know if you have any insights or comments on that question.
Yeah, sure, I'll take that. So if you're someone who is looking for a transition in their career, it's important that you have some transferable skills that you can use for your future employment. And I would say it's not really easy to get into a completely new job role, because an employers would look for, credibility in you and your CV. So it's important to have some transferable skills on your CV that you can show, that maybe you can use in your, future employment. So I would start with that, because that's something that, Mark really shared with us. So, but if you're someone, who is looking to just get into a brand new role, it's important that you do your homework, and it's important that you see if, Dublin or Ireland in particular has a market for that. So it's something important that you need to look out for before you even, start filling out your applications.
I agree with Sakshi. Just to add one more thing, it's always good to come with an idea of what you would want to do later on. And this is something that would help a lot the career services in terms, are you in tech going to consulting? Are you in consulting going to tech? Or are you in tech and going to a new field in marketing? So it's very helpful to come with an idea of what you want to do later on. And from that point, the career services would start to help you in that journey, given the effort that someone should put into it. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you all for your answers. I hope that answered the question. Chika has another question. Please, how early should one submit their application?
I would recommend submitting now. So we're open for applications at the moment, and we do offer, as I mentioned before, rolling admissions. So we will process applications as they come in, but once the course is full, it's full. So especially if you are applying internationally, I don't recommend applying any later really than January or February 2022 for the August intake. Firstly, due to demand for the places, as mentioned, they are small courses. And secondly, if you are applying for a visa, organizing your flights, accommodation, so on and so forth, it does take a little bit of time to organize that. You don't want to leave at last minute. So if you're applying internationally, I would say now is a good time to start gathering your documentation, doing your research, and applying really no later than January or February. Once we get your application in, it will be assessed. And if deemed suitable, you'll be called forward for an interview, which would be done on Skype or Zoom. And then following on from that, we communicate a decision with you, whether it was an offer, conditional or unconditional. So the turnaround from when you actually submit an application is generally 3 to 4 weeks. I'm sure Ali and Sashi will say it's quite a quick turnaround. So that's what I would advise.
And just to like add to that, I would say if you're someone who needs to take a GMAT or a GRE to get into UCD, then I would suggest you get it out of the way as early as possible, as this will give you more time to focus on your SOPs, essays, and letter of recommendations. So I would say, as Jessica said, applying now would be an ideal time. And there's no harm in applying early, but if you delay it, you may lose your chance at scholarship. I remember when I got my acceptance from UCD, we had this lockdown in India and I could not apply for my visa application. And I only got my visa in, I think, by early August, and I had my flight scheduled on 15th August. So that period of, that entire day leading up to my flight, I was so anxious if I'll get the visa or not. So it's better that, to apply early rather than delaying it.
Okay. Yep,
Just,
go ahead.
So yeah, just from a personal experience, I mean, hopefully everyone here would come into and do the MBA, but to be honest, it's one of the best feelings when Jessica is sending you an email or calling you, telling you you've been accepted, and if you're aiming for a scholarship and you get that scholarship, I mean, those moments would stick around with you and really shows the support UCD could give in terms of careers, in terms of other things as well. So yeah.
Great. Great to hear. Thanks, both of you. Question from Sanjay. Is there an option to schedule a pre-application with someone from the AdCom to have a profile review and ask profile-specific questions?
Yeah, I can answer that. So we get hundreds and hundreds of applications and thousands, literally, queries like this. What I would say is our website is very comprehensive on what we're looking for in applicants, and you can also watch back webinars like this one and kind of get a sense of what we're looking for. But my advice is to apply. Your actual application and profile review will be done at the actual stage of interview. So I would recommend that you just apply. Once we receive a reply, we can start communicating with you officially. If you do email us with, obviously, if you have any specific questions around admissions, do contact us. But if you are just looking for a general profile review, we do get thousands of these requests. So it is better just to actually apply to the program, and then you will get an in-depth profile review as part of your application.
Okay, thank you. Hope that answers your question, Sanjay. I just want to mention, by the way, before we finish off, we still have some minutes left for questions. To please fill out the polling. So we have 2 questions now opening for you to get some feedback from you. So do please fill that out. That's appreciated. And continuing with the questions, Thomas is asking to Kathy, when can we expect the employment report for the class of 2021? It would be great to have the class profile also included along with the post-MBA employment industry. Kathy.
Sorry, I missed, I think I went offline for a couple of seconds there. Could you repeat the question?
I can. So the question is, when can we expect the employment report for the class of 2021?
So for the class of 2021, it's 3 months post-graduation. So we'll collect the data. So the students got their final results, I think, on the 4th of November. So we will start collecting the data in January, and we collected for a month. So it's in line with the MBA CSEA data collection guidelines for the FT ranking. So we should have them by, let me see, kind of late February, early March. We should have this class employment statistics for the class of 2021. And, okay. And I mean, Mark and the team, we share them with Jessica and her colleagues ASAP, just to give them an insight into where people are going.
Yeah, I would say as soon as they are ready, they are put on the website, so they are made available. But obviously, the class needs to graduate first.
Yeah.
So that would be first. So it will be probably another 6 months, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you. Question from Susmita. Do you need the minimum job experience to join this program, or what can I do if I do not have the experience?
Unfortunately, there's nothing you could do if you don't have the experience except get the experience. So we do look for a minimum, I said, 3 years professional experience. you know, I think an MBA is it's a very personal decision when you decide to undertake one. You can undertake one within 5 years. You can do an MBA 15 years into your career. It really does depend on the individual and your goals. But for our MBA to be eligible even to apply and have your application considered for interview, you need a minimum of 3 years professional experience at the time that you are applying. So if you currently say have 2.5 years, but will have 3 years by August 2022, it's still not enough to apply for this year. You would have to wait until the next year.
Okay, thank you very much. And those are the questions so far. We do have a couple of minutes left.
I think we have one more question from Lucas, and I think that's for Ali and myself.
True, yes.
And it's, do you plan to stay in Ireland after the MBA and pursue a career there? So Lucas, as we mentioned, we are still very early in the program, but yeah, we as a non-EU student, we have a 2-year post-study visa, so we intend to stay for that period. And I think it will depend on the kind of job that we get. And if you're talking specifically about Ireland, it's a great place, it's a great country to live in, and the nature is amazing. And we were fortunate enough to experience the extended summers. So it's mid-October, and we still have like summer days here. So it's been great so far, and we'll see how it pans out.
I second everything Sashi said on this. Same story. So yeah.
Good to hear. All right, thank you both of you for your inputs. And that's very useful, I'm sure, for the potential students that are looking at this program to hear from your ideas and your experiences. Yeah, we do have a couple of minutes. I was going to say now still for our last question. I'd like to just give the floor for briefly though back to Jessica. There are a couple of things she wanted to mention as well in terms of the useful resources.
Yeah, thank you so much, Luke. So firstly, just want to say thanks to Sashi, Ali and Kathy for their time today, but especially our current students. It's great. I obviously meet people from the very beginning and go through the whole journey with them, and it's so great to actually see people on campus in real life in the classroom. So it's been brilliant. You guys are great. So thanks so much again for your help today as well. So just in the few minutes that we have left, there's an awful lot of resources, and we don't have a huge amount of time. So these are just some links that I really recommend that you look into. So the first would be the Smarfit School blog. All our current students keep a blog. It's one of the best resources to see what it's really like to do an MBA, and the archives go back years and years. So it's kept by current students. It's about their own experiences. It's really easy to read. It's a great source of information. So I definitely recommend you have a look at that. We are also often in the news in the Smurfit School. As I said, we're very heavily involved in research. Our academics are constantly in the news for things like that, especially with economic and political climate. So absolutely, if you keep up with our news feed, there's lots of information there. Over the last 18 months, pretty much all of our events have been online like this, and we have recorded all of them. So those are available through the webinars, and I definitely recommend, even if you're just doing your research on programs, a lot of those webinars would have taster lectures from our academic staff, so they're a great source of information. And then hopefully going forward, we'll have a few more. We'll be keeping the virtual events, but there will also be some in-person events, which is quite exciting to go back to doing that. So all those upcoming events will be linked on our events page. And then I mentioned as well our clubs and societies, so I definitely recommend that you have a look at them. There's some information on our website. I would actually say the blog is probably a better source of information for that, but that's a great way to get involved, and definitely reach out to people that way. If you do have any questions for us, I recommend emailing mba@ucd.ie, and a member of the team will come back to you. But I would always encourage you to have a look at the website first, because our website is very comprehensive. But if there's any questions, you can reach us there. We also do virtual drop-ins every Friday at 3 p.m. These are available on the website. These are aimed at MSc and MBA, and they're kind of general, but you're more than welcome to pop along to them if you want to. If you have a quick question, it would be me or someone from the team. And then finally, our next MBA event will be on the 20th of November, which is a Saturday. It is virtual. It's aimed at all domestic and international candidates, and that will be available to watch live, and it will also be recorded as well. So that is everything, and I got it just in on time. So I think that's everything. So Luke, there's nothing else I don't think I need to cover for now. So I just wanted to say thanks for everyone. Thanks for everyone on the panel today, and also thank you at home for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do have any questions about the program or anything, please do reach out to us via email, and this link to this recording will be sent around as well. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your afternoon.
Thank you very much. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.